It seems that the summer sun has ripened the entertainment company, Hong Tru, situated on precious land. The bald-headed, aggressive CEO, Brock Truong, who is only 50 years old, wiped his shiny head with a towel and slammed it on the table irritably. Lin Van, look at the mess you've made. Do you really think your current fans won't abandon you like those fake fans you bought? The brilliant midday sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the CEO's office. By the window, a few potted money plants could only extend half of their leaves outside, while the other half shielded the teenager sitting on the sofa. Although Brock Truong spoke as if Lin Van had debuted many years ago, a closer look revealed that the young man appeared very youthful. He lazily leaned against the sofa, his delicate, slender legs crossed in a nonchalant manner, swaying slightly. It seemed even the glaring sunlight feared to harm his exquisitely beautiful face, carefully illuminating his jawline and rolling along those graceful curves. Lin Van squinted his eyes, his long eyelashes fluttering like butterfly wings. He yawned and replied in a teasing tone, It's fine, Brock. You don't need to worry too much. Brock Truong felt a flicker of hope in his heart. Do you have a plan? Lin Van stood on tiptoe, leaning his whole body over the sofa, creating a rather strange posture. He raised a plump white finger and gently said, "No, my ancestors taught me if you fall, you get up where you fell." Brock Truong. Lin Van sat up, regaining his composure. "So, I'm preparing to retire and go home to sell purple sweet potatoes." Brock Truong. This was outrageous. Although Lin Van had been making, Lin Van sat up, regaining his composure. "So, I'm preparing to retire and go home to sell purple sweet potatoes." Brock Truong. This was outrageous. Although Lin Van had been making moves that caused him to lose popularity lately, always retreating crazily, a thin camel is still larger than a horse. Lin Van's small fan base was still fighting hard, willingly defending him. Was this maternal love? Brock Truong was stunned and could only express respect for his decision. Meanwhile, he was still trying to calm public opinion. Yet over there, Lin Van was already preparing to retire, handing over his work. "What if I go to the farmer's market?" "Oh, just give me 3 bags of purple sweet potato sprouts. I want to do as Einstein said, facing the vast sea, welcoming the spring flowers." Brock Truong. Brock Truong remained silent for a long time. Einstein never said that. "Oh, really? It doesn't matter." Lin Van waved his hand generously. "If you have no other business, I'll be heading out. I've signed up for a course on helping mother pigs give birth, and I officially start tonight." Brock Truong. The true noise often quiets down to silence. Brock Truong, who wasn't afraid of chaos in the entertainment industry, was left speechless for a while. He rubbed his bald head, the smooth, hairless feeling bringing him back to reality, and he tried to persuade. "Lin Van, it's fine. Even if you're smeared this time, we can still socialize. I feel the entertainment industry suits you better." Lin Van stood up. "If that's the case, then it's quite embarrassing." Brock Truong continued. "Look, in the entertainment industry, you can at most use that toxic language to attack, and people will still be fine. I'm afraid that after you sell sweet potatoes, you'll directly turn people from healthy and plump to food poisoning. In a rule of law society, I can do that." Lin Van. Before Lin Van could open his mouth to retort, the office door was knocked twice. Soon after, the voice of Tessa Jiang came from outside. "Brock, I'm here with my agent to sign a contract. Can we come in?" Lin Van let out a tsh sound, his eyes, like Brock Truong's, darting around the room before sitting down again. This was the moment when the gears of the protagonist's fate began to turn. He definitely had to be there to witness it. Brock Truong, accustomed to Lin Van's casualness, also wanted to stimulate him with another artist, so he ignored his behavior and returned to his desk. "Come in." Based on the classification in the entertainment industry, a person must possess enough popularity, traffic, and charisma in all aspects. Although Lin Van could still be considered a butcher, harvesting resources at the moment, after Tessa Jiang entered the company, he clearly began to surpass him. While Lin Van had been continuously losing resources these days, Tessa Jiang not only successfully pried away many of his resources and fans, but also saw his popularity soar. His reputation among the public was quite high, leaving Lin Van far behind, with titles like Little Prince and White Moonlight. When it came to Lin Van, people could only describe him with 4 words: difficult beauty. Lin Van didn't feel ashamed. Instead, he thought it was a compliment. In one interview, when asked about this embarrassing title, he straightened his thumb and said without changing his expression, "It's quite good. If you add the word great, I'd like it even more." Great difficult beauty, a masterpiece of exquisite beauty. Everyone was left speechless. Aesthetics are subjective, but Lin Van's excessively beautiful face transcended personal opinion and became a collective consciousness that no one could deny, meaning that aesthetics vary from person to person. But the beauty of the recipient is so great that it has reached a level where no one can criticize it. Gradually, Lin Van became increasingly confident, and viewers fell silent. So, regarding the question, who do you think is the most beautiful in the entertainment industry? Lin Van had an undeniable advantage and was awarded the title of the most beautiful face in the industry. However, now that beautiful face had been tainted with the addition of 4 words, difficult beauty, with a venomous heart. The appearance of these 4 words in his title was also due to the influence of his company mate, his fierce competitor, Tessa Jiang. The office door creaked open. Tessa Jiang entered with his agent and, upon seeing Lin Van sitting on the sofa, displayed a look of surprise on his gentle face. "Brock, ha tien voi." Brock Truong directly instructed him. "It's fine. You're just here to confirm that the Tsuti company is buying your personal contract, right?" Unfortunately, if it weren't for Lin Van's face, Tessa Jiang's appearance could be considered outstanding, especially when he displayed an innocent and kind expression, wanting to say something but holding back. It truly made others soften. Meanwhile, Lin Van, sitting not far away on the sofa, not only didn't care about his slouched posture, but was also dozing off. Brock Truong seemed to understand why Lin Van's fans didn't abandon him. Unfortunately, no matter how much they liked him, they couldn't accept his behavior. Listening to the artist was the best option. Brock Truong sighed inwardly and spoke to Tessa Jiang with a slightly better tone. "Do you have any ideas?" Tessa Jiang shyly smiled, his tone soft. "Brock, perhaps I'm luckier than my colleagues. A few days ago, the secretary of Tutong contacted me and offered me a resource contract from their side." A contract bearing the name Tsuti was pushed in front of Brock Truong. Tessa Jiang continued, "Tutong's intention is to support my development during this period, so he's giving me a contract that will elevate me to the top tier." This was not a contract. It was clearly a notification for him. Brock Truong rubbed his bald head and laughed. Got it. Let me slowly inform the legal secretary. Your contract will be extended after being acquired by Tutong." Tessa Jiang's face showed satisfaction as he stood up. "Thank you, Brock. Ha tien boi. I'll head back now." Lin Van waved his legs, showing respect. As the door closed, Lin Van sighed. "When I entered the company back then, I told you, the name Hong Tru is too stormy. It's unlucky. Look, it's clear now, isn't it?" Brock Truong felt a pang in his heart, unsure whether it was due to Lin Van's teasing or because of that Tessa Jiang provoking him. He could only quickly pop another heart medication. "What do you mean by unlucky?" Lin Van spoke with righteous conviction, saying, "Just like that Tessa Jiang earlier, it's obvious. He's got a crush on you." Brock Truong. Lin Van unusually spoke sincerely. "Mr. Truong, your company has made quite a profit, and after acquiring the contract, you should make a quick getaway. Just last night, I did a fortune reading, and that CEO of the Tsu company is infatuated with the fake young master Tessa Jiang. They will soon be entangled together 7 times in one night." Brock Truong. The 50-year-old man only felt his kidneys ache at the thought of 7 times in one night. Brock Truong took another emergency heart medication. Stop. Let's discuss some scientific issues together. At least for now, the company is still operating normally. So, how should we handle the incident from 2 days ago when you spilled champagne on Tessa Jiang at the party? Lin Van confidently replied, "Just pour it if you like. When I entered the office, I remember telling you about it, so don't worry." Brock Truong. ? Brock Truong, in despair, opened Weibo. Lin Van was trending again. Lin Van v. Many people are asking me why I made Tessa Jiang drink. The simple explanation is, it was a slip of the hand. Why was it a slip of the hand? Because he deserved it. Why did he deserve it? because he always likes to drag me into topics that can't be discussed with the CEO of its company. This part has been omitted. 3,000 words. The entire online community was in an uproar. A fried fish. Where's that 3,000 words? What content could possibly be so exclusive that a VIP member like me can't see? River shrimp peeling. I've known Ha Bao Boy for years. Why do you treat us like outsiders? 10 spicy grilled squid skewers. I have a friend who's about to kick the bucket. Before he goes, he wants to catch a glimpse of the essence of those 3,000 words. All by himself. He turned the situation upside down. Except for the fans of Tessa Jiang, who were still frantically angry, the public had already changed the topic. As long as he made a mistake, everyone running with him would return to the starting point. That was Lin Van. Brock Truong had no interest in the 3,000 characters that would ruin his kidneys. However, after the dispute passed, he felt a sense of obligation to advise him. Lin Van, right now, Tessa Jiang is like the sun at noon. Why do you have to compete with him? Can it be like before? Lin Van didn't wait for him to finish and pushed the door open to go outside. Just as he slipped out, he was caught by Tessa Jiang at the stairwell door. The workers and staff usually took the elevator, so this place was rarely crowded, often empty. Tessa Jiang leaned half his body against the window, a rare summer breeze gently brushing against his sideburns, exuding the charm of youth. He turned to look at Lin Van. Lin Van had no support, leaning against the door frame like a limp rag. Oh, waiting for me? Tessa Jiang was slightly taller than Lin Van and said, "Do you know why your parents don't like you?" Lin Van replied, "I can't help it. Their taste is poor. They only like the kind of pretentious people like you, a fake rich kid." Tessa Jiang smirked. "That's right. Although I'm fake, I grew up in the John family, nurtured and educated by my parents. You should take a good look at yourself right now. Smoking, making up stories, not worth anything at all. Lin Van, you're not even worthy of the title of a star. Haven't you noticed that your parents never mention you moving into their house?" Lin Van. Right. Let me tell you a secret. I'm still drunk." Tessa Jiang scoffed for a while, but didn't get the reaction he wanted to see. Gritting his teeth, he said, "I'm going to get engaged to Ella Chen."
Lin Van.
Although I have nothing to do with you, should I congratulate you? So you should hurry and run away. The malice in Tessa Jiang's eyes was uncontrollable. After Henry Huang was acquired, do you think anyone would still support you like now? Lin Van, don't dream anymore. The heir of the John family will only be me, and the entertainment industry in the future will also belong to me. Lin Van exhaled a puff of smoke, not speaking, a bit lost in thought. Tessa Jiang sneered. "Now you're scared?"
No.
Lin Van. "I was just thinking, according to the current plot, I should be stepping forward, throwing a punch at your face, and then out of embarrassment, I would angrily insult you." Tessa Jiang. Lin Van. "But my hand hurts, so maybe I should just insult you directly." Tessa Jiang. Lin Van read like a wooden block. "You really have no shame. People often say that the trash sinks to the bottom while the rubbish floats to the top. I don't know where someone as trashy as you should be, your heart as dark as ebony, your mind full of garbage. Do you think someone like Ella Chen would love you? Sooner or later, my parents will bring me back home. Sorry, I forgot my lines." Tessa Jiang was so angry that it seemed even a glance at Lin Van felt excessive. He stood there, calming down for a while before looking down and smiling. "It's irrelevant, Lin Van. Soon you will only be a thing of the past. See you." Lin Van shrugged. Bye-bye. Boring. The plot was boring, life was boring, everything he had was truly boring. The days of tranquility and simplicity had indeed been devoid of even a single day. Lin Van couldn't even find a goal he could value. Tessa Jiang was just a low-level fake rich kid who couldn't control his emotions, not even able to withstand a single blow, and instead made himself furious, his face not even considered handsome, his words unpleasant, and he was not interesting at all. That was all there was to it. Although he hadn't had the chance to interact directly with Ella Chen, the information about him was truly overwhelming. Strong yet gentle, cold yet dignified, polite yet serious. What the hell? Is he an air conditioner? Lin Van didn't like this guy at all. He preferred the noise, liked the color of red wine, enjoyed a large amount of love. These things would add vibrant colors to his otherwise empty existence. A quiet moonlit night. The sound of water in the bath stopped. The solid wooden door was pushed open, revealing a pair of delicate, overly white legs. Transparent droplets rolled down the curves and fell onto the pure, white cashmere rug. Lin Van casually threw on a silk nightgown, barefooted to the fridge to grab a bottle of wine, pouring 2 glasses. The feeling of drunkenness made him squint his eyes. The summer night breeze of City B also revealed its fervor, carrying the buzzing sounds of cicadas straight into his ears. Lin Van scrolled through the faces of newcomers in the entertainment industry, still not finding anyone worth his attention. Scrolling through his phone, he lost interest, turned off the interface, and absent-mindedly clicked on a new channel of a star. A breezy voice. This was an interesting newcomer. Recently, he had been very picky. A few days ago, Lin Van had heard his little assistant recommend a singer with a breezy voice, praising him to the point of saying he was like flowers dancing in the sky, calling him a little fairy in the human world. Unfortunately, perhaps due to it not being his real voice, when he reached high notes, the singer couldn't help but reveal some oddities. After all, that self-imposed voice had fooled quite a few gifts. Lin Van. Gazing at the portrait of the handsome guy who could sing in 8 different styles, Lin Van silently poured another glass of wine. It seemed he didn't need to humiliate the little fairy that much. Unable to find joy, Lin Van prepared to leave. However, the host had just introduced the next singer. All right, I've seen the explosive number of viewers. It seems everyone has guessed who the next performer is. This singer is a special guest, very busy, with very little time. Congratulations to the fans who have been waiting for him tonight. No more words. Let's hand the microphone over to Sophia Tran. Lin Van was pressing the exit icon but couldn't get out. Just as he was about to reach out to press again, he noticed the viewer count suddenly surged to over 40,000. Then in a few seconds, it changed to 60,000. This guy is something else, so it was him that kept me from exiting. Lin Van simply tossed the iPad aside, comfortably lying back on the large chair, his silk nightgown riding up with his movements, revealing a patch of smooth skin. After finishing one bottle, he brought another. He drank casually, the bright red wine flowing down his neck into his clothes, trickling down below, naturally creating a kind of morbid beauty. The iPad thrown aside transmitted the voice of that singer. Hello everyone, I'm Sophia Tran. Tonight I'll sing, let's sing this. This singer had a different tone from the others in the live stream room. His tone was dignified like a news anchor, but the timbre was not. This style brought a lot of feelings to the listeners, quite expressive, deep, husky, warm, sensual, also very gentle. After N seconds, I finally found a Vietnamese word for gentle. Especially the last few words, they seemed to carry a hint of a smile, making people linger, their hearts fluttering, as if they were reminiscing about something indescribable. Almost at the first second of hearing it, Lin Van was startled, his whole body slightly trembling. In an instant, desire seemed to be ignited in every inch of his skin. He gently rolled his throat. Turning his head, his gaze landed on the iPad. For Lin Van, the body's reaction was the most genuine. After hearing the sound coming from the iPad, he finally felt a sensation that he hadn't experienced in a long time. His stable body was pricked to the point where desire burned within him. Although there were many fragrant grasses in the horizon, being picky is not good. Yet, he had been raised to be finicky, so now he could only accept his fate. The sound from the iPad continuously captivated Lin Van's senses. The famous singer didn't choose a trending song on the internet, but rather an old track by a brother. By your side, the fatigue of the long journey suddenly becomes nothing. The famous singer didn't choose a trending song on the internet, but rather an old track by a brother. By your side, the fatigue of the long journey suddenly becomes nothing. You walk slowly, one segment at a time. May all the joys, sorrows, and pains of life have been tasted. It was the song Slow Steps on the Path of Life by Daniel Le. This song is nearly 40 years old, but when it lingered in the voice of that person, it had a bit of innovation and new twists. Lin Van listened in silence for a long time before remembering that he was using a Bluetooth speaker, so he flipped it over to adjust the volume higher. In an instant, the hoarse, low voice along with the soft melodies filled the entire empty living room. Each sound was like an invisible whirlwind sweeping over Lin Van, who was sitting on the sofa, ultimately surrounding him. Each sound was like an invisible whirlwind sweeping over Lin Van, who was sitting on the sofa, ultimately surrounding him. Every inch of his ears seemed to be occupied by that person's voice. Lin Van instinctively curled his little toes in response to the sensation. He liked it. Lin Van had never been someone to restrain himself. After the singing stopped, he frowned and picked up the iPad from the table. The host of the room had taken back the microphone, as usual, praising him vigorously and expanding the viewership of the live stream. Host: Thank you everyone for gifting to Sophia Tran. Thank you. Thank you. Why isn't Sophia Tran thanking everyone himself? Look how anxious he is. In a moment, I'll go tell the boss, okay? How many gifts does it take to earn a thank you from Sophia Tran? The room host thought for a while. This is quite a philosophical question, everyone. I've never seen Sophia Tran thank anyone, so maybe I should ask for a few 100,000 first. Oh, damn. The host stood frozen. He had just opened his mouth to speak when the sound suddenly became chaotic. The atmosphere in the room was still. All sounds came to a halt. Only Sophia Tran, who had just finished singing, remained seated, coldly distancing himself from the world. At that moment, a series of system notifications appeared in the live stream room. User 39U7A9Q0 has gifted 100 lotus baskets to Sophia Tran. One lotus basket is worth 3,000 yuan, with 1 yuan equivalent to 1 renminbi. 100 lotus baskets amount to 300,000 yuan out. User 39U7A9Q0 has gifted 100 lotus baskets to Sophia Tran. One lotus basket is worth 3,000 yuan, with 1 yuan equivalent to 1 renminbi. 100 lotus baskets amount to 300,000 yuan outside. This is something only a big spender could do. The hall and the host were momentarily stunned. The next second, 100 lotus baskets were being spammed by users, and the sheer volume directly affected the singer. The viewers in the live stream room slowly began to react. Fry dough sticks. Oh my god. A person like me who's usually so reserved finally gets to see something eye-opening. It's truly shocked my whole family. Little meatball. I finally saw someone burn 300,000 QAQ. Extra spicy food. So it turns out that both I and the wealthy big shots like the same voice. Extra spicy food. So it turns out that both I and the wealthy big shots like the same voice. This thought might be a bit strange, but it makes perfect sense. The host's voice finally broke through after a long pause. User 39U. Actually, we want to. Lin Van leaned on the sofa typing. User 39U7A9Q0. Is this enough for that singer to thank me? User 39U7A9Q0. Just call my name. I'm called Little Treasure. Host. The host had heard the boss mention that Sophia Tran came from a well-off background, and his background was probably not simple, so he naturally didn't dare to respond on Sophia Tran's behalf. But the silly fans below quickly took it upon themselves to represent Sophia Tran. Snowy Strawberry. Big spender. This is no problem. I'll respond for a din. Hurry and call him, quickly, Sophie shouted out loud. Taro Boba. Sophie, don't hesitate anymore. When the opportunity arises, we must seize it. I need to please the capitalists. I suggest we call out 10 times directly. Small black pepper steak. A din. Whether you can enter the wealthy circle depends on you. You have to be a discerning kid QAQ. The wealthy love faction, the beautiful single faction. The two factions were fiercely attacking each other in the comment section. The scene was very chaotic. After a few seconds, Sophia Tran finally noticed the battle in front of him. He leaned slightly and apologized. Sorry, I had something urgent just now. He paused for a moment, reading the general content of the comments. Okay, I see. Thank you all for your support. I will try to thank you every time in the future. So, tonight, sounds of clicking were heard from Sophia Tran's side. He was probably opening gifts. Soon after, a captivating voice entered Lin Van's ears. It was the melody he liked the most, without any pretense, both hoarse and seductive, as if it could make every pore feel joyful and relaxed. All right. Thank you, Little Treasure, for gifting 100 lotus baskets. The loudspeaker echoed the sound to every corner of the living room. The loudspeaker echoed the sound to every corner of the living room. If one had to point out any dissatisfaction with the statement, it would probably be that it felt too commercial, not like the flavor in his memory. Lin Van gently lowered his eyelids, half sitting, half leaning on the sofa, lighting a cigarette, his silk pajamas half covered and half revealing, showing a hint of indulgence. He exhaled a ring of smoke. The white mist rising made his enchanting face look even more ethereal. The voice in the live stream switched to another singer's voice. Lin Van listened for a bit, feeling no interest at all. He delicately tapped on Sophia Tran's image, sending a friend request. The other party has declined all friend requests. Lin Van pouted, clicked on the notifications, and sent a message. User 39U7A9Q0. I like your voice. Besides singing, do you offer any other services? I'll pay. User 39U7A9Q0. For example, sleeping, breathing? As soon as the second message was sent, he received a red. Due to the other party not responding, you can only send one message per day. Lin Van. Unable to make contact, he could only return to the main hall and type. User 39U7A9Q0. Can Sophia Tran sing all night? How much would that cost? This one question made the rhythm of the room, which had just barely returned to normal, explode once again. Goat rib soup. Ha ha ha. Is the boss preparing to cover everything? 3 KFC chicken wings. Although I'm very sorry to the other precious singers, I love you all, but if I can make Sophia Tran sing all night, I just want to say one thing. I can do it. Coconut water. I really like this style of throwing money when things don't go right, boss, go for it. The comments that were supposed to support the performing singer completely transformed into teasing remarks from the audience. Lin Van couldn't help but feel that he was being disrespectful to this singer. He thought for a moment and generously gifted again. User 39U7A9Q0 has gifted 10 lotus baskets to MU. User 39U7A9Q0. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt your singing. User 39U7A9Q0. Is the manager here? May I ask if gifting this many presents allows me to befriend Sophia Tran? It's urgent. Everyone. Cucumber-flavored potato chips. I understand now. The gifts in the boss's car are just a pile of lotus baskets. Lemon-flavored snack. The one above knows too much. So has anyone been able to befriend Sophia Tran yet? I want to see if I still have a chance in this lifetime. Crispy chicken feet. The boss has money and feels like an anti-fan, while the anti-fan feels very resilient. If it were someone else causing such chaos in the comments, the manager would definitely take action to ban that account. But Lin Van was a big spender who had just entered and had already gifted over 300,000 to the new singer with a beautiful voice, and looking at the name, it was clear that the account had just been registered, showing great potential. The host didn't dare to act recklessly, fearing that they might scare off the big spender, so they hurriedly reported the situation to the higher-ups while the singer was performing. After waiting a few more minutes, a friend request popped up on Lin Van's account. Austin Tong wants to be your friend. Besides Sophia Tran, Lin Van had no interest in anyone else, and upon seeing that friend request, he suddenly felt like ignoring it. Soon, that request jumped to the top. However, this time there was an additional line of text. Austin Tong wants to be your friend. I'm the boss of the beautiful voice. Didn't you want to befriend Sophia Tran? Lin Van immediately accepted the friend request. The other party's profile picture was a vibrant night scene of a bustling street, somewhat resembling a CBD in City B. Austin Tong sent a voice chat. Hello, boss. First of all, I really appreciate your spending tonight. Here's the thing, Sophia Tran is quite hard to approach. Since he joined the beautiful voice platform, he hasn't befriended any boss, not even fans, as we had to force him to interact. If not, I can pull you into the VIP fan forum where Sophia Tran is also present. His tone was gentle, softly persuasive, his voice smooth, and very clear. Just from listening, it was evident he was a seasoned businessman. For a while, Lin Van liked this kind of style, but after losing interest, he preferred the current style more. Moreover, today he had found a new target. Lin Van quickly lost his patience, and his voice gradually returned to normal. Huh? I'm not going to flatter him anymore. Although he had heard countless excellent voices in the beautiful voice platform, Austin Tong was still a bit taken aback. If we must categorize sounds into different types, the hottest in the market without a doubt would be the alluring voice. The name Sophia Tran has a captivating voice that he has worked hard to pull off quite well, but it feels like it lacks the unique quality of a pure voice. Just like the alluring voice, which neither suppresses nor forces. A pure voice is also quite rare. Meanwhile, the voice of the person opposite him perfectly fits this requirement. Not only that, but the tone coming from the speaker is clearly soft as cotton, yet upon closer listening, it carries a hint of coldness, as if it was born with a flavor of betrayal. However, the final notes seem to linger, almost imperceptibly, as if trying to capture the soul of the listener. When Austin Tong regained his composure, it was also the moment he replayed that voice chat over a dozen times. He held his phone, pondering for a moment. So, what do you want right now, little treasure? I want him to keep me company while I sleep, whether a lot or a little is fine. Austin Tong. He held his phone, pondering for a moment. So, what do you want right now, little treasure? I want him to keep me company while I sleep, whether a lot or a little is fine. Austin Tong. For a moment, he didn't know whether the image he imagined of Sophia Tran keeping someone company while they slept was more terrifying, or if little treasure's blunt statement was more shocking. After a long silence, Austin Tong finally said, I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts. Our singers sell their art, not their bodies. Little treasure. Who wants his body? I just like his voice. Little treasure, wealthy and displaying a rough talent, said, How about this, Mr. Roberts? 1 million a month. You have that Sophia Tran call me every night at exactly 10:30, as long as he can lull me to sleep. Any other requests he has can be reconsidered. Austin Tong. Little treasure frowned. Is that not acceptable? Are your high-pitched singers made of gold? Well, it's fine if the money isn't enough. I can increase it. Money is certainly not the issue. Austin Tong said, Can you leave your contact information? I will call you to explain more clearly. After a while, a series of numbers came through from the other end. Austin Tong immediately called back. The real voice of Lin Van came through. Is this Boss Tong of the alluring voice? It's me. Austin Tong listened to the sound coming from the phone. The voice of the person seemed to carry tiny hooks, gradually making one's heart feel a bit itchy. Austin Tong felt a bit thirsty. He swallowed before saying, How do you address yourself? My surname is Lin. Austin Tong. Mr. Lin, Sophia Tran, he didn't deceive you. He is not a contracted singer of ours. He was just invited here by chance, and we can't force him to meet your request. Lin Van completely lost interest, his beautiful eyes drooping. All right, you can delete it. Wait a moment. Austin Tong interrupted. Mr. Lin, I called you because there is still another way. I can guarantee you an opportunity to get in touch with Sophia Tran without you having to spend a dime. Lin Van. Austin Tong. Just now I heard your voice, and I found it very pleasant to the ear, and our platform happens to lack singers with such a voice. I wonder if you would be willing to participate in a small survey. I want to hear you sing a bit. Lin Van. No. Having been in business for many years, Austin Tong suddenly felt a reluctance to let go. We have a lot of benefits here, Mr. Lin. We have the best traffic, and the number of singers joining is quite promising. Moreover, Lin Van was preparing to hang up the phone. Austin Tong. Moreover, becoming a singer allows you to connect with the WeChat group of the work team, and Sophia Tran is also in there. Maybe. Austin Tong. Question mark. Forget the survey. I can't sing well. I don't want to go and embarrass myself. Lin Van played his trump card. I see everyone has their own role. I bring capital into the group. My role is to offer rewards tenfold, as long as you don't make me sing anything. Austin Tong. The alluring voice has a task for the singers to meet the survey targets, representing the number of gifts each person receives, whether more or less. Currently, the most popular gifts range from 5,000 to 30,000 yuan, and based on Lin Van's conditions, he could receive over 100,000 yuan daily. Austin Tong himself is also a wealthy second generation, but he has never seen anyone burn money like that. He asked, So, what are you planning to sing? Lin Van, bored, lit a cigarette. The sound of the lighter reached Austin Tong's ears through the phone, followed by the sound of the other side sighing contentedly, without any pressure. After many years in the industry, Austin Tong generally wouldn't bring up such personal issues when chatting with someone for the first time. But perhaps the atmosphere tonight was too thick. Before he could react, he blurted out, You smoke? The other end of the phone was quiet for a moment. Then the sound of metal rubbing against crystal came through. Perhaps he was looking for an ashtray. Lin Van laughed lightly. Is there something strange about it? Does Boss Tong think it's inappropriate for me to smoke while discussing cooperation? Austin Tong realized he had misspoken. It seemed Lin Van didn't mind much. The silk pajamas he wore had no structure at all. His long legs were exposed, resting on the cold crystal coffee table, contrasting with the black floor. Lin Van blew the bright red ash, causing it to scatter into dust, then opened his mouth. I also like to present one way in front and another behind, fake inside and moral outside. Does Boss Tong like that? Austin Tong was a bit taken aback. Being adults, aside from the alluring voice program just released, the Tong family also owned a chain of bars and a series of luxurious private clubs. Even if those were normal interests, everyone had them. But for Austin Tong himself, he absolutely would not allow such things to exist. Yet, these words came from the person on the other end of the conversation. The voice sounded innocent and pure. Even just 20 minutes ago, he had thrown out hundreds of thousands for the singer Sophia Tran in his program, which could be described as a passionate confession. And now, he was casually speaking of indulgence, asking him if he wanted to leaf left or right. Faced with an Austin Tong who had a rich romantic history, at this moment, he felt he shouldn't have any special reaction. Yet Lin Van on the other end couldn't wait even a third of a second before losing patience, lightly expressing his dissatisfaction with a small huff. He no longer bothered to hide his impatience. You're really not interesting. How did? He no longer bothered to hide his impatience. You're really not interesting. How did you become a boss? Based on your calmness? Austin Tong. How I do it, wouldn't you know if you tried? His voice lowered. Austin Tong realized his voice carried a hint of irritation at being seen through, mixed with a bit of childishness. He hastily blurted it out, without even having time to ponder. It seemed too rushed. In fact, there was a saying that Austin Tong had never believed before. But now he suddenly felt it was true. Men are indeed creatures who cannot withstand temptation. Temptation comes in many forms, and in front of seasoned players, even the simplest methods can be hard to resist. Tonight, he had originally planned to go out for drinks. After work, Austin Tong went to find Jia Chun, ordering a simple glass of whiskey. The alcohol content was so low it wasn't enough to get him drunk. The more he drank, the drier his mouth felt, and Austin Tong downed the glass in one go, feeling the madness within him rise. The voice of Lin Van came through the phone. Like carrying tiny hooks, the compliments carried a hint of ambiguity. If Boss Tong has said I can try, then I won't be polite. Just don't know what the test in Boss Tong's mouth is for. Austin Tong felt Lin Van was like a deadly flower growing on the murky waters amidst the whirlpools of emotions. Its dazzling colors made one drool. Moreover, it was a deadly poison. Austin Tong said, "Aren't you still interested in Sophia Tran in the lobby?" "Indeed, I am. But what does he have to do with us?" Lin Van questioned. "He can't be held in hand, nor can he quench thirst. I'm just a mortal. When I'm hungry, I eat. When I'm thirsty, I drink. Isn't that normal?" That poisonous flower swayed its brilliant body, releasing colorful pollen among the bushes, yet still made people entranced, unaware of the consequences. Austin Tong smiled. "Indeed, it's very normal." Austin Tong continued, "Come to the company tomorrow to sign the contract. Will you be able to show your face?" Lin Van hesitated slightly. "Just a small identity, and you want to sign a contract?" "I've checked online, and many singers from Alluring Voice haven't signed contracts." "That's right." Austin Tong raised a glass of golden yellow liquor. "But you're different from those singers. You're bringing capital into the group, so as a boss, of course, I feel I should offer you some small benefits. Or are you really just throwing money in for Sophia Tran, only giving and not receiving? Who would find it bothersome to have more money?" But in this world, Lin Van couldn't take a single cent with him. Lin Van expressed a sincere attitude. "Boss Tong, I have no merits at all. I'm just afraid that one day I might suddenly have a stroke and die without having spent all my money." Austin Tong. Lin Van seized the opportunity. "Moreover, I'm not just here for Sophia Tran, you know? Aren't you still around? You're quick and efficient, and I'm very pleased, darling." The toxic flower spoke the words, "darling," wrapped in a layer of sweet sugar, skillfully making one feel nostalgic. The sound of the air conditioner turned on clearly echoed. Austin Tong yanked at his tie, pulling it down. The dignified and gentle morning demeanor vanished without a trace, leaving only a few solid abs. Austin Tong drained his glass in one go, and only after finishing did he realize that he had gripped the glass so tightly that it had become warm. He opened his mouth and said, "So, don't you want to come check out my appearance? Austin Tong, what if I don't look suitable for your taste? By the time we meet, I might disappoint you greatly." Before arriving in this world, Lin Van was also an actor, and after crossing over, he still had to continue in his old profession. However, in the past, aside from external romantic issues, he was a flawless hexagon warrior. But now that he has crossed into a story, aside from his face, he is just a small artist with a tarnished reputation and no connections at all. Asterisk hexagon, referring to a hexagonal diagram where the vertices represent qualities, talents, etc. Because of this, Lin Van's personal life has always been subjected to endless curiosity and suspicion from the public. One could say that such a taciturn person could sustain dozens of paparazzi teams. Having traversed countless fields of grass, many veteran paparazzi still couldn't capture the essence of Lin Van's tastes and preferences. In the past, his interests came and went quickly. Perhaps today he liked the image of a cold, aloof CEO, but tomorrow he would fall in love with the gentle and jade-like persona. But anyway, if the paparazzi keep shooting endlessly, they will surely have to summarize certain rules. No matter what the image is, it must have an outstanding appearance and a good voice. There are only these two types of characteristics, and lacking even one is unacceptable. It can be said that this perfectly aligns with the nitpicking habit of Lin Van. The world has changed now, and Lin Van is choosing among a large bush of flowers, struggling to catch sight of one, yet it's incredibly hard to reach. He can only step back, look for another, and for now, he can only find a toy that is reluctantly pleasing to deal with. It seems that guy was right. Lin Van, lying on the sofa, sat up and grabbed the nightgown that was about to slip off. "That's fine. But you have to protect my privacy. I'm a very fragile person, you know." Lin Van's delicate white toes fiddled with the belt, absent-mindedly poking at it. "See you tomorrow, darling." The headquarters of the Austin Tong Corporation is a luxurious private club located in a prime area, standing out as a rare peaceful corner amidst the bustling city of B, only welcoming special guests with prior appointments with the owner and acquaintances of the owner. Perhaps due to the limited number of people, it is quite quiet, and this place is also a common gathering spot for people like them. As for Ella Chin, who returned from abroad to take over the Ella family, it's different. Many wealthy second-generation elites in City B have wanted to gather with him, but unfortunately, the noble and aloof Master CU refuses to lower himself to their level. In the end, it was still Austin Tong who had to use his own charm to bring the great deity over for a visit. They had invited him many times, but Austin Tong didn't make excuses like others. He simply stated that they were all in City B. Even if they couldn't see each other when looking up, they could still see when looking down, and he called Ella Chin over to sit for a bit. Eventually, the busy Ella finally agreed to come. The gathering time was set for 9 p.m. As usual, Austin Tong first confirmed the menu and the cooking ingredients, so he simply decided to meet Lin Van at this location, just an hour earlier than the gathering time. It was just because of this. He wasn't rude when talking on the phone, so he used this childish method to show off. Austin Tong was momentarily stunned, until his assistant beside him reminded him, "Mr. Austin, Mr. Lin has arrived outside. Should we let him in now?" On either side of the club's entrance were two jade paintings depicting mountain and river scenes, enveloping the area in greenery like a private estate. In the middle of the gate was an exquisitely crafted arch, with intricately carved jade columns resembling lifelike dragons, harmonizing with the fierce tiger painting on either side, illuminating each other. As time passed, the club staff would supervise the servers to bring food to the table. If they saw someone arriving who wasn't a regular guest or a VIP of Mr. Austin, they wouldn't open the main door, only allowing cars to enter through the side gate. Initially, Austin Tong was waving for his assistant to come over, but after a moment of looking, he fell silent. He stood at the front of the hallway, gazing from a distance. Just a brief moment of silence later, a bright red Ferrari gradually slowed down and stopped in front of the door. A man, no, perhaps it would be more accurate to describe him as a youth, at least from Austin Tong's perspective. The figure was too slender, appearing pale and lacking vitality. He wore a loose, casual shirt, and the dry, hot wind blew the shirt, casting a shadow on the ground. Yet, the person standing under the shadow was strikingly pale. At 8 p.m. in City B, the sky had turned pitch black, but he still wore a pair of oversized tea-colored sunglasses and a black mask covering half of his face, making it difficult to see his delicate, high nose. And now, he slammed the car door shut and pulled down his mask. The peculiar shape of his bones formed a proud curve. His thin lips parted slightly, seemingly speaking to the staff about something. The assistant's phone rang. Mr. Austin? The main gate reports that Mr. Lin refuses to use the side entrance. Austin Tong, however, didn't feel surprised at all. Then open the main gate for him. The assistant. Mr. Lin also said that you need to personally go out to the main gate to apologize to him. Austin Tong. For a moment, the atmosphere became somewhat stagnant. After a few seconds, Austin Tong suddenly laughed loudly, stood up. Let's go. Let's go welcome this little ancestor in. Lin Van didn't have the bad habit of refusing to enter through the side door. He simply said it straightforwardly, making it difficult, causing the staff at the door to have a bias and feel uncomfortable. Rather than making himself uncomfortable, he preferred to PUA others. As Lin Van got into the car, Austin Tong had already come out from the hallway. The main entrance exuded an ancient breath combined with the low, subtly carved columns connecting to the hallway adorned with lush green plants, harmoniously blending with the moonlight, casting shadows that covered more than half of the night. It could be said that Austin Tong's demeanor perfectly matched Lin Van's preferences. The reluctance hiding in his bones finally settled to accept him. The staff surrounding Lin Van, upon seeing Austin Tong, eagerly went to greet their boss. Lin Van took off his sunglasses, revealing his mischievous eyes. Mr. Austin, good evening. The voice coming from the phone became clearer, even the final tone more alluring. Austin Tong finally understood that there are indeed people in the world who can gain an advantage over anyone else simply by relying on their innate voice. Moreover, he also had such a stunning face. The beautiful fox-like eyes remained lively even in the dark, still mischievous as ever. Anyone who pays attention to news in the entertainment industry knows how many bad rumors he has, a chaotic reputation, insulting teammates, poor acting skills, harming the company, casually missing appointments, smoking, drinking. Everywhere there are serious offenses. Everywhere there are serious offenses. Austin Tong reached out to pull Lin Van's sunglasses down, but he was caught by Lin Van's hand, gripping it. Lin Van said, "Your staff wouldn't let me use the main entrance, and I'm not happy." Austin Tong looked down at those mischievous, swirling eyes, which held no hint of grievance. He spoke softly, with a scheming demeanor. "Shouldn't we sweetly kiss to prove our identities?" Austin Tong sighed. "Lin Van, this is our first meeting." Lin Van replied, "First time is a kiss, second time is to go to bed, third and fourth times double that, and the fifth time is a bow." "Is there a problem?" Austin Tong. "There is a big problem. A very big one at that. A very big one at that." Austin Tong knew that he didn't have a romantic seed within him. Considering his experience with both men and women, he had probably played enough to stretch into a circle. But he had always adhered to certain rules. Dating, hugging, kissing, going to bed, and then happily returning home. Not casually spending and using like Lin Van. The staff felt that young Master Austin and the person in front of him indeed had a close relationship and wisely stepped back, avoiding the gaze of both. But ultimately, this wasn't the right place to discuss such matters. Austin Tong pulled open the passenger door. "Get in the car. We'll talk inside." Lin Van squinted. "You open?" Austin Tong. "I'll open." "You open? What do you think?" "All right, earlier I wanted to enter, but you wouldn't let me. Now I don't find anything enjoyable anymore." Growing up in a well-off family, Ella Chun was well-mannered from a young age. Although he had dabbled in romance, he had never engaged in actions like those that Lin Van could pull off. Even more surprising was that he discovered a side of himself that he never expected to exist. "No contract. I'm an artist after all. Do you really think we could sign a genuine contract?" Trying to scare me. Lin Van unceremoniously touched the jade painting depicting mountains and rivers on the main door. He delicately extended his index finger to push the second button on Ella Chen's custom-made suit, pulling at the fabric inside the suit with one hand while raising the other. With an air of arrogance, He looked down from above, releasing his grip slowly. A cigarette, but silently slipped into the chest of the suit, a token of engagement. Lin Van's voice was soft and sweet, helping Ella Chun adjust his suit once more, transforming him back into the image of a domineering CEO, neatly fixing the second button to a proper appearance. Clearly, the cigarette butt had extinguished. But in the moment Lin Van approached, Ella Chun suddenly felt his chest being tormented. It was that kind of half-hearted struggle. Yet Lin Van remained oblivious.